let's bring in our first guest now today to tie up all these loose ends. We're joined by Josue Raphael Cortez. He's the faculty and practicum coordinator for diplomacy and international affairs program at the De La Salle University College of St. Benilde. Josue, good morning. Thanks for making time for us.
Good morning, Ms. Regina. Thank you very much for having me also.
There's so much to talk about, but let's start off with the latest trend, which is the president in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia today to attend the 46th ASEAN Summit. There's a lot of expectations there for him. He has said that Malacanang has said that he wants to raise the issue of the code of conduct again over the South China Sea, but in terms of the trade aspect of things, what's realistic to expect here in terms of ASEAN coming together on a singular tariff response to the Trump administration?
All right. Actually, even before President Marcos headed to Malaysia, as early as Saturday or yesterday, during the senior officials meeting, they have already discussed the senior officials of ASEAN, which we are represented by the incoming DFA Secretary, Teresa Lazaro. They have already expressed their mutual desire, their collective desire to actually work together in order to safeguard ASEAN economies in light of the tariffs being imposed by the Trump administration. Given, of course, that most of the economies here in the region are developing in nature. Therefore, if ever that we don't get to work together, then there's a big possibility that these tariffs would actually heavily debilitate our economies. So they are now in the process of actually discussing on how to navigate this. And at the same time, they have already discussed and finalized the so-called China ASEAN FTA 3.0, which is basically yet another instrument for the regional bloc to actually find and tap China as an alternative market for Southeast Asia products. So that's the latest development so far. And concerning the China ASEAN FTA 3.0, they're actually expecting to have it signed, to have the document signed once ASEAN convenes again during the latter part of 2025.
Isn't that going to be a tricky balance to try to thread, given that the other big issue on the table is the code of conduct with China, right? And there's major sticking points there. But on the other hand, I see what you're saying about the need to redraw the trade lines now that everyone is facing some tariff penalty. How best do you think the ASEAN can come together to tackle these two conflicting issues?
What's interesting with ASEAN is actually the fact that we get to adhere to the ASEAN way. Therefore, given that a big portion of the tensions that we have right now with China, politically speaking, is centered on the Philippines, then having to maintain a healthy balance would not be a problem at all for the regional bloc, given that the Philippines also is taking the primary lead or is also the prime mover in terms of crafting the COC. Therefore, while also focusing on the pressing economic challenges that we face today, ASEAN also has the time, also has the opportunity, the luxury of time to actually look into the economic facet. And given that we consider China as our largest trading partner as a whole, as a bloc, then really give special importance to China in the economic facet. And then concerning, of course, politics, give despite the fact that politics and economics are interrelated in a way or another, there is a minimal chance that the crafting of the code of conduct will be an impediment towards these milestones in the trading between China and ASEAN.
Do you see an opportunity here, especially since the Philippines is set to take over hosting duties for ASEAN next year? So we've got about less than a year's worth of leeway. Where's the opportunity here for us to begin those conversations, whether that's trade or diplomacy?
What we can do, given that our chairmanship is already near, is that a lot of dialogues are already happening right now. For example, in Malaysia, we already had a meeting with our predecessors for ASEAN chairmanship. And at the same time, President Marcos may also opt to maximize this opportunity given that they are in Kuala Lumpur, not just for the ASEAN Summit, but also for the GCC China ASEAN meeting, to actually begin talking once again with his foreign counterparts on how we can better navigate the situation we're in. And this is with the hopes, of course, that we can reach a code of conduct by next year. We can finalize the document by next year, which would be very much significant given that ASEAN will be held here in the Philippines.
I love your optimism, but we will have to leave that there for now because we've run out of time. We hope to have you back on the show another time. Thank you so much for your insights, Josue Raphael
Thank you very much
Cortez.
also.
He's the Faculty and Practicum Coordinator for Diplomacy and International Affairs Program at the De La Salle College of St. Benilde.